Plataforma de información musical y radio online. Rutas Alternas. Escucha.
El álbum New Meaning es la placa que está inminente a salir a través de la propuesta neoyorquina de Tempers, este dúo que está estrenando música. Y para hablarnos respecto a este material discográfico, tenemos el gusto de conectar en esta videollamada con Tempers, con Jasmine y con Eddie. Hola Jasmine, hola Eddie.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello guys, how are you?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Where are you right now?
I'm in New York. I'm in the East Village.
And you, Eddie?
I'm in Chelsea in Manhattan as well.
Great. So guys, New Meaning is just few days away from the releasing. How do you feel with the launch of this album?
We're really excited, especially after kind of having had 2 years of not being able to perform and just being more cocooned. It feels really exciting now to be in this time where we can tour again and reconnect with our fans and share new music.
And Eddie, what can you tell us about the process of making this album? Because these 2 years have been difficult, have been weird because of the COVID pandemic. But how do you find the time and the ideas to make the record?
Well, time was no problem. I mean, when the pandemic happened, we had a lot of time on our hands. And sorry about the sirens.
No problem.
New York.
New York, yes.
Yeah. After, once we got started, it actually became such an amazing thing to have to fill our time and occupy us and orient us towards the future. It was like, even though there was so much unknown and so much difficulty, it felt like we had this thing that we knew would someday, see the light of day and be shared with the world. And so I think that was sort of really exciting throughout the whole process.
Even if you are sharing this kind of hope and light, I found in your music a lot of dark places, a lot of dark meanings. How do you handle this yin yang, these two ways of the human being? We all are that the way, but how do you handle these two parts in the album?
Yeah, I think that's that. Oh, if you want to go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, there's, we work with contrast a lot. That's the way that we think about creativity in lots of ways, just, from sound and lyrics and everything, so it would feel strange, I think, to only emphasize one direction of emotion, I mean, of course there's powerful art that does that, but somehow for us, I think there's maybe because we're two people and there's like, the differences between us and the similarities like make it satisfying to work with sort of multiple, even like contrasting emotions at the same time.
Jasmine, you use in Tempers a lot of synthesizers. I found new wave, synth pop in your sound, and those are sounds maybe from the 80s. How do you translate this sound from that period to sound more contemporary, to put your own seal on that?
I don't understand. Sorry.
Because synth pop and new wave are sounds from maybe 30, 40 years ago. But in your music sounds very contemporary. Sounds
yeah.
How do you translate?
I mean, I think that, there's a lot of musical genres that, are also like punk is also, an old music genre. And, I think that folk is a really old music genre. I mean, all of the basic genres that, most musicians work in have a history, and everyone's kind of evolving them through, I think just being, firstly, sort of living right now in this time, making music, you are informed by your contemporary history and what's happening. And, lyrically, the ideas are relating to, sort of conversation of what's happening in the world right now, and being a living, breathing human being in 2022. So, I think that definitely, also, I think it's not our intention to have a nostalgic sound. I think sometimes with synth bands, maybe also the reason why people often associate like synth music with the 80s is because people want to sound like they're from the 80s, and that's like a goal, which is cool, but that's definitely not our intention. I think that we're more trying to create songs. It's about songwriting and creating like a narrative and storytelling that feels meaningful to us in this time.
And now that you mentioned, Jasmine, how important is your environment, your community for your lyrics? Because New York is a very, very important capital of the world. A lot of music is sound all the time in New York. But how important is that environment for you as a creator?
I think it's extremely important. And one of the things that really inspires me about the city is the way that it's a very kind of raw and messy city, and everything is on the street and everything's in your face. So there's no kind of politeness or hiding. And I think that historically with bands, New York-based bands, that comes out in the lyrics, and also poets who lived here, who wrote here. There is kind of this like stream of consciousness that can be kind of a little bit kind of brutal and violent, but also, has these like glorious, poetic, euphoric moments. And there is a sense of absurdity also in the city that can come through in the lyrics as surrealism. Like, like even thinking about like the Velvet Underground, the lyrics can be very dark, but then the music also has a very like beautiful, playful quality to it. So these contrasts, I think, historically are a very like New York kind of sound or signature. And I actually really enjoy that too, because I think that, life, if you don't take the light and the dark of life and somehow find a way to synthesize them, then you become very unbalanced as a person, So I think creatively, it's also interesting to merge, merge the palette of life, the palette of, emotion that we all have, and to just be very honest about it.
Eddie, I read that you self-produced the album. How was the dialogue with Jasmine to create the sound, to create the songs? Because sometimes it's harder to have this dialogue between two people than in a band, right?
I don't know. I mean, I can't imagine doing it with more than two people. I think that between us, like our communication is very clear about production. Like as we're working on a song, when we're producing the songs, like, I mean, mostly we know what each other is going to want to do and what we think, needs to happen for a song. And I think that that's a workflow that really works well for us, because I don't know, more people involved would just be insane, I think. Yeah.
It's interesting how do you handle this dialogue, because I found in your songs a lot of a connection in between them, and we can listen to the album as a concept, right? It's important that the narrative of the concept of the album is there.
Yeah, I think with this album in particular, yeah, I mean, say more, Jasmine.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, of course, there is a concept to it, but I think like with anything with music, really you just kind of feel it, and it can apply, the songs can really mean different things to you at different times in your, like any music, a song can mean something different to you in a different time of your life. And the most important thing is that it touches you. And so my hope is that the music touches people in some way, and that moves them and maybe just enhances their life in some way.
Absolutely. That's the power of music, right? To move these emotions.
Yeah. And so, like someone could really just, someone can write a song about like cooking a chicken, and if it's done with feeling, you're going to cry when you hear the song. So, as much as like, there's thought put into just, on an intellectual level around what it's about, I also think that at the end of the day, it's like there's real feeling that goes into it, and hopefully that communicates.
I think there's also like, there's a natural coherence that an album will have if it's made with like a lot of thought and focus. I think this album felt very focused for us, and without intending to have it be necessarily conceptual whole, it has that quality because all the songs are sort of talking to each other in some way.
Great. You will release your album New Meaning on April 1st. through DAIS Records, is the name, correct?
Yeah.
It's an independent label from New York?
Yeah, it's an independent label, LA, New York. Yeah.
Great. How was working with them?
Oh, they're so nice. It's been such a great experience. They're really, really good people, and it's really been like the best experience.
Because nowadays the role of an independent label is very important in the music industry. I mean, I know major labels have their own way, but with these labels that have a lot of great artists, a lot of new sounds, it's important for the music industry in the new century.
Absolutely. And I think that, you know, labels like that really give their artists full freedom to say whatever they want and don't really, you know, don't try to control your image, or, you know, they really just create a platform for you to express yourself. And, you know, it's just such a privilege to be in that position. So we're really grateful.
And you will release the album in physical formats, in CD or vinyl?
Yes, yeah, both. It's going to be, we have a vinyl run with some colored variants too. Cool. They're actually almost sold out, but cool. We still have some, already, and then we have CDs too,
Because as we said, it's still very important to have this connection with the music, and with the physical format, it's even greater. I mean, you play the vinyl in your turntable in your special place, and you can read the credits, the lyrics, have this experience of listening, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's a big part of sort of what DAIS has been great for, I think, is like, oh, I don't know, she disappeared. Lost her.
Yes, maybe the internet connection.
Part of what's been cool with DAIS is that like they're so devoted to vinyl and vinyl distribution, and they have such, even though it's an independent label, they have a really good distribution network that allows us to, you know, connect with people who care about vinyl all over the world in a way that's really important for us in terms of reaching the right kinds of people in the right places, you know.
And we can pre-order the album on DAIS Records website and in your website, right?
Yes, in DAIS Records' website, and it'll be on Bandcamp and stuff, and also lots of third-party record distribution places for overseas stuff.
And Eddie, what are your plans for the rest of 2022?
Well, we're about to start a pretty long tour. Let me just see if Jasmine is coming back.
Yeah, no problem.
So next month we start our tour in the US first, and then we're going to be going to Europe after that. So it'll be like the whole month of April into May in the US, and then over to Europe. We're still getting our dates picked out, but we should have those set pretty soon. But yeah, lots of touring. That's the plan.
Great, it's important. No problem, Jasmine. Welcome back.
Thank you.
We were talking about the rest of 22. You will have an amazing tour. It's important to play live again, right?
Oh, yes. I'm so excited to play live again. Just to have that, you know, in real life, physical experience of connecting to people is something that I really have missed a lot. Virtual life isn't the same for me.
I know.
So, yeah.
I know. Maybe some of the important things about this internet connection is that now we can chat in a platform like
Absolutely.
Zoom. I have this conversation maybe better than in a phone, right?
Absolutely. No, there's great things about it for sure.
But nothing like live music, right?
No, yeah, it's really different. Also, just, you know, performance is such a unusual life experience. There's really nothing else like it to be, you know, it's almost like time gets cordoned off into this special zone that's outside of any other kind of time. And you get to share that with people. And I really miss that a lot. And I'm really glad that we're able to do that again.
And Jasmine, Eddie, when will you come to Mexico?
Well, we're working on it. So hopefully this year, we will definitely have something. Yeah.
You have to come, guys. You're very close to Mexico, a few hours away by plane.
Yeah,
not so far. And, you know, we've always had an amazing time playing in Mexico. It's like our favorite place to play.
Yeah.
Well, looking forward to listen the new album of Tempers, New Meaning, and also to see you guys play here in Mexico. I hope you can make it maybe in the fall. And we will buy the vinyl when you come here, if you still have vinyls. And you
yeah, we'll still have some, don't worry.
In the meantime, we can pre-order the album through the website and the website of DAIS, and listen to the album on all digital platforms. April 1st, we can listen New Meaning, the new album from Tempers. Jasmine, Eddie, thank you so much for this chat with Rutas Alternas.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lovely to meet you. Thank you so much.
Plataforma de información musical y radio online. Rutas Alternas. Escucha.